Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is nothing but a hood story masqueraded as a children's card game, and I refuse to hear anything else, okay? I'm gonna explain to you in this video because I talked about this months ago. And now I finally have all the evidence. I finally watched some movies, and I'm going to explain to you how it is nothing but a hood story, right? But first, what is this comment? Now, to the people on YouTube, you have no clue what I'm talking about. But the people on TikTok can see this because there's a comment that says something along the lines of, please don't make the video ghetto. Brother, how would I do that? Right? I'm not going to hold you. That sounds like a tad racist to me. Just to me. But I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, right? I don't know what you meant by that. I don't know if you know what you meant by that. But just a little off. Just a little off, right? The video's out now. Go check it out. See for yourself, right? Check it out, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, man, we're going to move past this now, right? So Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. For those who don't know, the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, right? And me personally, it's my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Not only did I grow up on it, but a lot of the people I know, like a lot of the minority people I know, love Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, right? Like if you took like the fan bases, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds probably has the most minority people there outside of the original. And it's because it makes sense. Like it's just telling like, okay. Let me slow down. First of all, to understand, hood movies aren't just one-on-ones, okay? They're not in their own little universe. They're usually a reflection of the current landscape, either of that time in that area, or just in general, or something that's like rampant that keeps happening, right? So when I'm talking about these hood stories and like these hood movies, it's not just like, oh yeah, it's only in these hood movies. This is also happens in real life, right? And that this is very reflective of that. And I think that's why a lot of minority people understand that, because a lot of us do come from like lower and like middle class like areas, right? Mostly like lower class areas, and there's nothing wrong with that. The middle class as a whole, that's a whole separate video for a whole nother day. But let's get into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff now, okay? We're gonna be talking about pretty much everything from the enforcers, sector security, Rex and Roman Goodwin. Just want to set this now. I hate them. I hate them so much, the both of them. And even to how like they pretty much harvest the resources from their communities, right? We're going to be relating this to Boys in the Hood and Belly. Two great movies. If you haven't seen them, I think they're both. Boys in the Hood's almost 2 hours long. Belly's only like an hour and a half long. But, right. So let's start from the beginning. We're going to go in a little semi-chronological order, at least when we're talking about the enforcers, just to understand. Now, who are the enforcers? These are our three main characters. Fourth one comes in a little bit later. You got Yusei Fudo, Crow Hogan, Jack Atlas, Callan Kessler, right? Or Hessler, whichever one, right? These are our four guys. They live in the satellite, which is essentially the ghetto. Like it's like sectioned off. It's neglected intentionally neglected. Like they don't do anything in the satellite, right? They're a gang. The enforcers are a gang. You can call them a group. You can call them what they want. They are a gang that runs around in the satellite, protecting their own area of the satellite, while also keeping sector security out, because sector security is a lot more brutal in the satellite than they are in New Domino City. Don't get it twisted though. Both places are still a police state, but not as much in New Domino City. They're a lot more brutal in the satellite. So the enforcers try to keep them in check. Now the enforcers were doing pretty all right until Callan got a little too rowdy with somebody else from another gang. Crow's like, all right, I'm out, right? Now, what we see here, like at least like with people protecting each other, but like people going too far, very like reminds me of Boys in the Hood. If you ever seen Boys in the Hood, I'm gonna spoil all of these movies, putting that out there now. But Boys in the Hood, essentially, there's a part towards the end of the movie to where people felt like some people may feel like Ice Cube's character may have gone a little too far, or even the older dude in that, like the 37-year-old hanging out with some high schoolers, right? People go too far and stuff, but they're passionate. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying they're passionate. So was Callan, right? Crow wasn't about it. He said, I'm done. Yusei and Jack are kind of there, kind of not. Now, Callan has a bright idea because he sees sector security coming around trying to arrest people again. Let's just firebomb their area. And so he does. And then he ends up fighting another sector security guard, really badly injuring him. But Yusei tries to take the fall for this man. Doesn't work out super well. They get Callan. Callan has a huge grudge. Then everybody goes their separate ways. Now there's a little time skip here, right? Then Jack Atlas essentially steals Yusei's bike and takes it to New Domino City and is like, I don't know anybody. I've never been to the satellite. Those are the poor people. I'm Jack Atlas, the master of faster. That's essentially what happens, right? And so Yusei is left in the satellite with Crow. Callan is off in sector security jail because he's now essentially deemed like, I wouldn't say a terrorist, but he's up there. He's definitely up there, right? And so at this point, nothing's really going on. You got Crow, and Crow's here protecting everybody in his community. And if you've seen Boys in the Hood or even Belly, I would equate Crow to like Nas's character, which I think it was Sincere in Belly, or even Ice Cube's character in Boys in the Hood. Not necessarily the exact same person, but they really care about their community. No matter what's going on with them, like Ice Cube's character in Boys in the Hood, he was in and out of jail. In and out of jail. Crow was in and out of sector security jail. In and out. You can tell by the marks on his face, which we'll talk about that later, because that's a whole separate issue about them marking people and how it is in their society. But, right? So Crow really is that community guy. And that's not to say Yusei isn't. Yusei still helps around, but Yusei has his own dreams of getting out, which is like Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character in Boys in the Hood. He's there, which also little Yu-Gi-Oh spoiler for you. Yusei is not initially from the satellite, just like Cuba Gooding Jr. is not initially from that hood, and then he goes live with his dad. I don't know. I thought that was crazy. But Yusei essentially still helps out the people in his area like Cuba does, and then he ends up trying to leave again, especially because I'd be a little upset too if my friend jacked me for my bike, took it to another city, and was like, I'm the best dueler the world's ever seen, even though Yusei was rocking that man back in the satellite. Yusei decides to go to New Domino City. Now, on his way to New Domino City, he has a run-in with sector security. He outruns them for a little bit, right? And he eventually, I'm not going to get into like the whole lore of it. Just know he eventually ends up in jail. Now, this is where we're going to start talking about sector security. The last part was just a little preview for you so you can know where we're going here. Yusei's in jail, right? That's how he has the mark right here, bada bang, bada boom. Hopefully I'll put a photo up there. If I don't, I hope you know who Yusei is. You probably do if you're even watching this video. Sector security is so oppressive. Like they're abusive, like physically abusive to people. We've seen them threaten people with jail time who have not done anything wrong. When they threaten, I cannot remember this character's name. Rally. They threaten Rally, putting Rally in sector security. For what reason? I have no clue, right? It's just really a power trip, but also the other thing that's important about sector security, they take people's cards while they're in jail. And like they cycle through things. Also, they look for psychics there, right? If you don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, just know they're psychics. They look for psychics there to take them and put them in a different facility and to use their power because they had a whole little thing with the Acadia people, right? And that's just one aspect of like them using people in their jail system just in and out and using them as resources because that's all they see them as is resources. And that's essentially how we see that in Boys in the Hood when we see the Ice Cube's character and some of his friends are in and out of jail. But also like the cops aren't really there to help people. They're just there to get their quotas. They're there to put people in jail because you have to remember there is a quota. Like I don't get twisted. Most cops do have quotas. The people in my town do as well, right? That's a real thing. Like they only really did that just to mess them up. And the other thing that's like really important about this is that sector security, when you get that mark, you're a pariah to society. That's what you are now. You're a pariah to society. They know that you've been to jail. And because of that, it's harder to do stuff. Also, sector security can track you with those chips, by the way. Crazily inhumane. Crazily. But that's all you are now. And that's pretty much what happened to Ice Cube because people only saw him as that person that was in and out of jail, right? And at a certain point, he only saw himself as that person that was in and out of jail. And a lot of people that are in and out of jail in Yu-Gi-Oh! Only see themselves as that way too. Because in society, they can't do anything. When Yusei goes to New Domino City, because he gets out of jail at some point, when he goes to New Domino City and he meets Leo and Luna, the two little twins, they initially don't trust him because he has the marks of somebody who's been in jail, even though he was wrongfully imprisoned, right? Like, They really do that just to mess people up in their social standings, and that's what happened to Crow as well. Crow has probably like the most marks out of any of our main characters that we're talking about today. And he has those marks because He goes in and out of jail trying to help out like the little orphans that he watches over and whatnot because he doesn't want them to go to jail. So he'll just go to jail. It's like, what's another year? What's another 6 months? I've already been, right? And you start getting that mindset. That's just real life. Like even relating to like, I really don't have like a movie. I'm sure there is a movie to relate that to. Not one of these two. That's just life, man. Like that's just life, and that sucks, right? But it's real, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. Okay. And I kind of want to get more into. We're gonna circle back around to sector security towards the end because their harvesting won't make sense until I explain why I call them a police state and everything. Now, sector security is run by one person, Rex Goodwin, right? Rex Goodwin runs sector security in both the Satellite and New Domino City. Rex Goodwin is also Jack Atlas's, the dude from earlier. That's his manager because he's like a pro Yu-Gi-Oh dueler. They go on duel runners. Okay, just walk with me here. All right. That's his manager, and what he does is he just rules. Like he just rules the world. Like not as a good person. Like he just rules that universe essentially because all he has to do is 6 sector security on somebody like he does to Yusei after Yusei beats Jack in the tournament. And then they just get sent to jail or like they have troubles on their hands, right? And he uses that as power to keep people down. Also, he may have used it to help his brother find other signers and like maybe help an apocalyptic cult try to end the world. And that's why he's really in power, just to use people from the lower class to use them as sacrifices. That might be it. That might do it, right? Who am I to say? Who am I to say? I've only seen the show like 4 times. Who am I to say? But yeah, no, seriously though, he really does do that. Like Rex Goodwin uses people as sacrifices. His brother Roman, we'll talk about him in a minute, also uses people as sacrifices. But he's in that position because since he runs the prisons and whatnot, and a lot of people, the society he's created is designed to keep people from really caring about the people that have gone to prison because of the marks. Now that they're seeing social pariahs, you won't notice if they're gone. Crazy, right? It's also kind of like the same way that the U.S. treats homeless people and people in jail now. But when they're using people like that, it's like the movie Belly. If you haven't seen Belly, go watch it. Great movie. I'm going to spoil the ending here. DMX goes to jail at one point, and he is about to get like busted for everything. But then they're like, "Hey, man, what if you worked for us, right? What if you did something like that?" And that's a pattern. That's a pattern that's going to happen with Rex and Roman. But they get people at their lowest, and they're like, what if you helped us out? What if I got you out of this sticky situation for you to help me? And then I'm going to use you, and I'm not going to care about you after the fact. What if you did that? Because they put people in a situation to where they can't say no, right? And they have these dark signers, the signers I was talking about earlier, that they're trying to gather, right? Let me run you down the list of how they got some of these dark signers, and you can understand why I hate Rex and Roman Goodwin so much. Now we got Callan. Remember him, the dude that took the fall? Callan went to sector security jail. He was beaten, tortured, and starved. That's what it was. He was beaten, tortured, and starved endlessly until he was about to die. And then Roman Goodwin speaks to him telepathically, because don't forget, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! There's telepaths. Speaks to this man telepathically and is like, "Hey, man, I know you hate Yusei now, right? What if you come work for me and I give you a second chance at life?" Now, in the 4Kids dub, none of these people actually die, but in like the actual like Japanese version, I guess like all these people actually do die and come back to life. Each their own. Either way, they're reborn as dark signers. So Callan gets reborn as a dark signer. He's in jail. He knows he can't leave. Like he's pretty much going to get jail for life. He's being beaten on the daily. He's being starved, so he has no energy. He's barely getting any sleep. So a chance to get out, of course he's going to say yes. But who put him there? Rex Goodwin. Why is he there? Now you're going to say, well, DJ, he blew something up, blah, blah, blah. He blew something up because they were being oppressed for so long. Now, these people on the satellite couldn't even own their own cars. So, like, Yusei is essentially homeless because he just sleeps in, like, a little car garage, right? I want you to understand that, like, homes to us are like dual runners, the little motorcycles they ride to play the card game, are like dual runners to the people on the satellite. That's what that is, okay? So you need to be able to actually have a dual runner to kind of make money, especially New Domino City, unless you are educated, which the people of Satellite are not because they don't have schools, right? We've seen that. They don't have schools. They won't accept somebody from the Satellite to work there because Yusei is kind of like a mechanic, and there's mechanics there, but they don't accept any of them, so you can't do that. So you need to be good at what? Dueling. Dueling is their version of sports, essentially. And to duel there, you need a dual runner. But sector security does not allow people in the Satellite to have dual runners. So if I can't make any money in the Satellite, I need to go to New Domino City. I go to New Domino City. I don't have an education. They won't accept any of my prior credentials for like mechanicry or like anything like that, right? And it's illegal for me to technically have a dual runner. How am I supposed to make money? What am I supposed to do? And they keep beating my people down, hoping that we retaliate. So then that their retaliation is justified, and then that they can jail us and harvest us for a bunch of other stuff, which I'll talk about later. What is Callan supposed to do? What is Callan supposed... You know what I'm saying? Like, so the fact that he got to that, I get it, right? Like, I'm sure most people could get to that point. So, that's why I say it's Rex's fault that Callan's there. That's number one. We got a few more. Misty, you don't really need to know who she is. Just know her brothers died at the hands of Sayer, who runs Arcadia, that psychic group I was telling you about, right? Now, her brother's death was never properly investigated because Sector Security had secrets there. Their secret is that they were funneling people from Sector Security prison to the Arcadia Academy. The Arcadia Academy is a place for psychics, and they were training psychics, really torturing them, trying to get as much power out as possible because they were trying to oppose Rex Goodwin. Rex Goodwin knew this, but also they were also kind of like getting their own little research too because they were finding signers there. At least they found 2 signers there. So Rex Goodwin, the owner of all the prisons and in charge of all the police, was funneling people from the prison to the Arcadia to let Sayer essentially torture them to see if they had powers. Right? Misty's brother died to Sayer. Sayer killed that man. They only did a few interviews with Sayer and did no more investigations because they knew that they were going to find stuff about themselves. So they just dropped the investigation. She got to her lowest. The Darksigners came to her and was like, hey, man, you want revenge on Sayer and avenge your brother? Come join the Darksigners. Rex Goodwin put her at her lowest, essentially, and Roman Goodwin gave her the ability to avenge her brother. We're not done. Carly. Carly also died during a battle with Sayer, right? Trying to get more information on Goodwin's involvement on like all the magic stuff going around in the city and the police involvement. She died to Sayer, like Misty's brother as well. And she was given a chance to be reborn as a dark signer to avenge her own like death and to get revenge on Sayer, right? None of that compares to Greiger. Greiger was dueling, so he was like an athlete. He was only dueling to send money back home to his family. He's from a different country. He's sending money back home and aid to his family. Really stand-up guy. Understandable, right? Roman takes him and is like, hey, man, come join my team, but you gotta die and be reborn. My boy needs the money. Dies and is reborn. He gets reborn back, doing all this stuff with like the Earthbound Immortals. That's the like apocalyptic stuff they're trying to summon. It's all these creatures, right? He finds out that the reason his place, like his home country and like all of his siblings and family are dead, not all of his family, but most of his family and his siblings, their souls are trapped and dead, is because a Earthbound Immortal was the one that actually destroyed his village. He didn't realize that at the time. So now he's working with the people that destroyed his village. But who was in charge of these Earthbound Immortals? Roman Goodwin. Sorry. Roman Goodwin is in charge of he's been doing this for 17 years. 17 years. 17 years. Roman Goodwin was in charge of the Earthbound Immortals. Yeah, crazy, right? They set pretty much everyone up. Granted, I know they didn't intentionally set Greiger up. No way they did. But still, right? And now you're going to tell me, well, DJ, Roman was influenced by this dark magic or whatnot. And Roman also told Rex Goodwin, hey, bud, you start gathering these signers to stop me one day. 17 years prior, that's what he told his brother, right? Because Rex and Roman are brothers. You got to kind of feel bad for them. No, I don't. No, I don't. You set up an entire system to use and abuse people to hopefully find some signers, and you really only found dark signers. All of just the normal signers, man, like the good folks trying to stop the apocalyptic cult. Most of them were from Satellite. Some of them weren't. Some of them were from New Domino City. You're right, yeah. But like, you didn't have to do that. You did not have to make 2 police states and harvest these people's resources. DJ, you keep saying harvest these people's resources. What are you talking about? Let me explain. Now, in sector security, in prison and whatnot, right? People duel, right? That happens. People steal each other's cards, yes. But you duel because cards are a resource. They are like currency there. So sometimes sector security prison, like the wardens or whatnot, will fight these people and take their cards because they know they're valuable cards and take them, or other prisoners will take each other's cards. And it's just a cycle of resources because you get people, they come in, they get their cards taken, they have no way to defend themselves now. So now they're just somebody's bottom B, you know what I mean? And like they're essentially like slaved out there. They finally get out, they get some more cards, but you got a chip, you got a marker. They're going to find you and say you did something and bring you back to, there's plenty of people who are like multiple offenders, and bring you back to prison just to take your cards again. It wasn't until Yusei got up in there and started whooping butt that they were like, oh, whoa, buddy. And he wasn't even using his own cards because they took his stuff. Like, brother, I'm trying to tell you here, I'm trying, like, using resources, right? And I know what you're thinking. DJ, didn't you say this was going to relate to like hood stories and hood movies? Yeah. You made it this far. You're probably like 15, 20 minutes in this video by now. You've probably just been relating this to real life because, like I said earlier, hood movies are just aspects of real life. They're just aspects of real life. That's all they are. That's all they are, right? I'm going to relate it back. Just give me a second, okay? I'm coming back to it. Just understand. That's all this is, right? Also, in Belly, DMX is used when he's in jail to like go around and do some other stuff for the people, right? I said this earlier. He ends up deciding, nah, man, I'm not going to do that anymore. Actually, I'm going to go clean. He got off a little bit nicer, I believe. Not this man right here. Not any of the signers who decided, you know what? I'm done being a dark signer. They died. They died. Well, they died and were born again, died and were born. Just know, the lights were out for a little bit, okay? The lights were out for a little bit, right? If you've been around this long, obviously, I kind of stopped relating it to the movies at a certain point. Do you know why I stopped relating to the movies at a certain point? Because the movies are just aspects of life. They're just a reflection of life. Not all movies, but a lot of hood movies are, right? And I'm sure when I was talking about stuff, you were probably relating it to our government right now, right? You see what I'm saying? Right? I couldn't just say, like, Yugioh 5Ds is like talking about how the government's bad and whatnot. Because it is. But I also wanted to, like, relate to the hood movies because that's true as well. I just want you to know that the hood movies are a true aspect of life at times. And Yugioh 5Ds happens to also feel like a hood movie because it shows the true aspects of life just at an exaggerated level, like a lot of movies do. A lot of people aren't like in Belly. They're not DMX running a drug ring, going to Jamaica and taking out other Jamaican drug cartels just so they can have their own Jamaican drug cartel and a Jamaican assassin comes back to get them, right? That doesn't happen all the time. That's a real plot point in Belly, by the way. That I'm not being like hyperbolic or anything. That is an actual plot point in Belly. Like 50 other people come in with guns. This one dude takes them all out with the guns. And then some like Jamaican assassin jumps, like she just jumps on the roof and just. That's a whole other thing, right? I'm just saying, I didn't really have to relate it to movies because it's relating to our life already. because a lot of these hood movies feel so close to home because they're talking about real aspects of life. I just want you to know that. I just want you to know that. All right. It's not because like, oh, I forgot to relate to movies. Kind of, but not really. Yeah. I really hope you enjoyed me just kind of spewing, right? Hopefully you got something more to it, right? I think I hit all my points. I think I did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hit all my points. Callan comes back. He becomes a dark signer, right? Just like in Belly, there's a dude in Belly. They really mess him up, like really mess him up. He comes back at the end of the movie, shoots the main character in the foot, tries to kill him, misses, gets him in the foot. Callan tries to kill Yusei, messes up, obviously, because Yusei's still alive. I'm not talking about the second season of Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, the second or third season. Once the aliens come in and like the future people, still a great series, just not what I'm talking about here. They still kind of touch on that, not really though. But thank you for watching. This is gonna be the first of many kind of like essay videos. I'm gonna get a mic soon. I'm sure the audio is a little rough. I know it's a little rough, but I'm gonna get like an actual mic some point next month. And like I plan to have like better stuff. Yes, I'm filming in my kitchen. Whatever. I plan to do this just a little bit better. You know, I'll get better over time. This is my first like kind of like talking like essay video like this. But yeah, genuinely thank you for even sticking around watching this long. I really appreciate it. I got to go edit this bad boy before work because it is 3:53. I work at 5. I don't think it's going to get edited before work, so it's probably going to come out on Sunday. These videos are going to come out on Fridays. Now, little thank yous out the way. Thank you to Leslie for helping me out with this stuff and just kind of motivating me. Same with Daniel. Appreciate you, man. Love you so much. Also, thank you to Miss Grande. I don't think I would enjoy writing as much as I do now. And I don't think I would have like tapped into my love of creative writing and just kind of just yapping is what it is. I wrote all this out. Like a lot of this is written out. But like being able to get my thoughts across in a correct way, and but also like a stylistic way, you know what I mean? So like it's still engaging and still fun, but you're still receiving information. And I don't think I'd be able to do that without Miss Grande. Miss Grande, thank you so much, man. I know we haven't talked in a while, but I truly still appreciate that. And yeah, thanks for watching the videos. If you made it this far, heck, even if you only made it 10 minutes through and you just skip to the end to see what I'm not cutting that up. What I'm yapping about, all right? I plan to do these videos once every other week. Okay? Once every other week for these longer videos. My video game videos are just coming out like Monday, Wednesday, Saturdays. But these videos are going to come out on Fridays, every other Friday, so the next one won't come out. Not next week, but the week after that. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. Hope you all have a nice day. And if I don't see you, have a good afternoon, good evening, and good night.